Doctors are here. We're ready to go. Are you guys ready to go?
Absolutely.
All right, let's check it out because we have a lot of good questions. This is from Shannon from Staten Island, who says lots of people say that acupuncture is terrific. It can relieve stress and other problems. Question is, should I try it? So what do you think, David?
You know, I think acupuncture has been around for centuries, and the Chinese medicine swear by it, and it's become very popular in America since President Nixon actually made the first visit to China in 1972. This has become more and more popular. The question is, what are you using the acupuncture for? If it's for fatigue or migraine or headache, etc., whether it's the placebo effect or not, and the jury is out on that, I think it's actually helpful. I have actually gone for acupuncture.
You've done it. You've tried it.
But you have to do it for about 6 to 8 weeks, and you have to have a real licensed acupuncturist. And that's really the message to a lot of people out there is you can't just walk into any acupuncture doc and say, hey, take care of me, because it can actually hurt you.
If people expect acupuncture and alternative medicines to be in place of what's considered conventional medicine, that's not a very advisable track. You can achieve these benefits through alternate means. If you get calm and relaxed jumping out of a plane, which would give me a heart attack, then that's going to help that person.
Right.
For me, being with my dog, which has been well documented as having positive cardiovascular, pet therapy is a huge positive. There's study upon study that shows the reduction in heart rate and blood pressure, the improvements in mental health and well-being. That's been proven again and again. And I think the key take home with regard to acupuncture is I'm not opposed to it. I just want people to have realistic expectations.
Are there any side effects, David?
Well, there are. And in the hands of people who are not really well trained, you run the risk of having hepatitis C as a result of needle infections. Those risks are very, very low. But one has to be careful. But before Jamie jumps out of the plane, I want to bring in a little bit about the fact that as a robotic surgeon talking about the traditional Chinese medicine, the history behind it and the mechanics behind the fact that the Chinese think that there's a life source that actually goes through these 12 channels of meridians. And when you're malnourished, when you have a lot of stress and fatigue or a disease, actually life can stop at the place where when you go to an acupuncturist who's really, really great, with that needle treatment, they can open up the flow of life throughout your whole body. It's absolutely fascinating. Yoga, meditations, acupuncture, if it helps you, why not?
Jamie, I'll join you. We'll jump out of that plane together. How's that? Okay?
But then you'll need to revive me by the time we've landed. I'll need to be resuscitated.
Okay, we're going to move on to our other question, okay? This is from Mark in the Bronx, who says, I absolutely love going to the gym. A lot of people do. But I hear that intense workouts are not good for us. Now, is that true?
You have to know who you are, and you have to know what your family history is, what your personal heart health history is, in addition to everything else and your genetics. Going from being completely sedentary to doing intensive workouts can be really a dangerous thing to do.
Sure.
So whenever you're endeavoring to pursue a new plan activity-wise, always speak to your doctor who knows your personal history, who's examined you, knows your family history. Extreme athletes, they've done a lot of work in this arena. We're talking about people who are doing the World Marathon Challenge, 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. Those are intensive levels of workout. And in addition to that, there's some suggestive evidence that is showing there is some heart remodeling. But again, I think most cardiologists would say inactivity is much more hazardous to your health overall than being active in a moderate fashion.
David, it can also tear up a lot of tissue, too. You have to be very careful about that.
Well, Ernie, one of your biggest signature is the quotes that you've been talking about this. How about this? One small one, no pain, no gain. So there's no question about going out there and exercising, because every doctor encourages at least 2 to 3 times a week, half an hour exercise, lower your blood pressure, lower your cholesterol, reduce the risk of heart disease, and stress is absolutely the way to go. But once you pass over that and you become a real addict, even with sports, more studies and shows that you can actually have cardiotoxicity. So the big question is, how many times you have to do it? If you do it too much, can you hurt yourself? Absolutely. Don't overdo it. Get out there, exercise, make sure you're well hydrated. I'm all about that, but doing too much, I don't think it's a good idea.
Always speak to your doctor about it as the safest bet.
Check with your doctor, like we're checking with you guys, okay?
Yes.
There's another thing we want to check on. We have another question for you, okay? Let's check this one out. This is from Marie from Manhattan, who says, does sex really help us to live longer and healthier? She says, I want to know. I think everybody wants to know. You want to start?
Sex is one of the fundamental basic things in life that leads to greater overall well-being in terms of reduction of heart rate and blood pressure, connectivity, not just sexual intimacy, but also social connectedness helps us prevent things like depression, You get exercise from sexual activity. If you're not having it, then it can have a downside in terms
affect
of
your mood in many
affect your
ways,
mood
too,
in a lot of
exactly.
ways.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning before whether
Yeah.
it controls headaches, and I would argue
Right.
that maybe if you're not having it, you may get some headaches or something like that. But I would say it can improve self-image, eating well, exercising. All of these things together lead to a life well lived.
Yeah,
So-
David, you're a prostate specialist too. You know all about this, right?
Sex is absolutely natural. It's helpful. Study after study shows that it can reduce high blood pressure, reduce stress, boost your immune system, and certainly is a great cardiovascular for people. It's a great exercise. It can boost your immune system. So study after study shows that 20 orgasms a month can actually reduce the risk of prostate cancer. So Mary, if you have a husband, you have my permission to go out there, practice safe sex, and good luck to you. I think it's going to
This is a
help.
urologist who has these conversations all the time.
But Jamie,
when he's
you know that this is a question that does come up often.
This is not something that is not occupying the minds of most people, no matter what gender, no matter what age.
That's not true. You know, when you come to work,
Yeah.
you see the one who is smiling has had, not only he's done his acupuncture, he's working out and he has a great sex life, and the one who has a big belly fat and is not too happy, the bedroom is not so good.
Oh, you
So-
really have described it.
I would say that's more a reflection what's going on in his head than necessarily what's going on.
Okay, well, it's great that we've got two
Like-
doctors' opinions here. They always say get a second opinion, right?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Dr. Wells, Dr. Samadi, thank you
Nice to
so
see
much.
you, Ernie.
See you next time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the questions.